everyone. Welcome to the Virtual Investor. We have a deal review, one that just recently closed this past week. And Mike's going to break down all the numbers on this, where we came in at, what we anticipated originally. And then we have another upcoming deal that we're getting into, one that's a little bit out of our normal buy box, but looks to be a real good investment here for us. Mike, I'm going to hand off to you. We'll ride through it here.
Sure. We'll start off on the one that we most recently won at auction. And then the second property, like Paul said, we'll kind of do a Monday morning quarterback. Hey, here's a deal. We reviewed it a few months ago. This is what we thought. This is where the final number was. Where were we off? Where were we good? Type of thing. And with the first deal, again, one we recently won at Bank Online REO auction in the state of Washington. I'll go to the Zillow link here. Nice. It's a golf course community. So it's a nice area.
And it's got a yacht club too.
And in the past, this was actually used as a rental too. A few years ago, we found an old listing. You can kind of see here, livable property, just a little bit dated, but overall good condition. And we're looking at here a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, almost 1,600 square feet. So, decent size.
Yeah. And we're getting quotes on painting the interior. Obviously, some of those bedrooms are quite colorful, so we're going to get them toned down a bit, make them a little bit more neutral, palatable more to other buyers out there.
Exactly. We got multiple options on this one, and we'll get to the numbers in a second. But plan A is we could wholesale as is. Plan B is some of those minor renovations that he mentioned regarding paint and carpet and things like that. So the comp area initially over here is kind of like the development that it's in. You had stuff ranging in the mid fives. Again, we filtered already on square footage, and this is like date probably last 12 months sold. And you can see here what's interesting is the low comp is basically 400. Mm-hmm. And nothing is really below that too much. That's in the immediate area. And originally what we were thinking is as is might be, call it probably like 360s, 370s. And we're trying to get a feel for it, running our numbers. We reached out to the local agent here. I'm looking at my other computer screen, and looks like they had a BPO recently ran. And in their analysis too, they also noticed the low comp was something in the 380s, was probably this one here. And with all that, they were thinking as is value in our property. This was even smaller. It's only a 2-bedroom. This was is probably something around, call it 379. So what we're going in to do here is as is value. Again, this is based off us and talking to the agent, 379. We had a max bid of 270. Buyer's premium, about 5% on this property. Transfer tax, state of Washington, 5-month hold. And, that should net us around, $51K, which is about 17% return on our money. The plan B that we mentioned is we're getting quotes now on carpet and paint and a few other like minor things like that. We might be all into that, call it 10K on those renovations. However, that could boost our after repair value into the 400s, which is actually a good return on your renovation money if you think about it. If I give you $10,000 and you give me back 2 months later $30,000, I'll do that all day long. So that's kind of an analysis process that we're working on there. And again, getting comps from our agents, looking at some of these properties here that are similar square footage. You can kind of see here comps in the low 4s in this area. This one doesn't have photos, but some of them, pro tip here, do have photos. So this is a house more similar to our style. Again, a smaller bedroom, but similar square feet. You can kind of see here, this got 400. And if we just do something as minimal as paint and carpet, we should easily get that given the extra bedroom that we have. So
yeah, I would agree. I mean, a good location. Everything in that whole development really is pretty good location because you got the golf course, you got the water. So for boaters, for golfers, people do both things. This used to be, an Airbnb type of rental, VRBO. So an investor could want it for that play, or somebody might just want to buy it and live there, retire there. Multiple options here though, but the comps look really good. We feel really pretty comfortable with the low 4s if we did the paint and some minor stuff there.
And as you see here on the active, everything's in the 5s, 6s, and 4s basically too. So by us putting an as is value at 379, even we'd be the lowest property in the development, but might make sense to make the renovations on this one that you and I are talking about.
And just get everything, Mike. So the bank, when they countered me on this originally, they were at 365. They wanted to sell it in that 360 plus range. They really wanted 365. We stuck to our number and they reluctantly ended up taking it because it had been a few cycles that this was on. So another reason to feel kind of good because their BPO had to be somewhere above that, right in that range there.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a great point. This could become an emotional game when bidding. You get caught up in the moment. You got to stick to your guns. Stick to your maximum allowable offer when the negotiations and the bidding is off the table. You know what I mean? You don't have that kind of emotions driving you, and just stick to your numbers. I think that's a great point right there, Paul.
Stick with it, and your profit numbers will be a little bit better.
Yep. Anything else on this one? The only thing I would add is if any investors watching this, you're looking to purchase this one yourself, let us know. Happy to maybe talk and maybe give it to you, because there's, again, room to renovate and higher upside. So we have the wholesale option here, and any private lenders out there looking to lend on a deal like this, let us know as well. We got more coming if this one doesn't fit your buy box.
And this does work out for buy and hold people, right? Because of the whole Airbnb type aspect of this. So multiple different type of buyers out there for this one. Now it's not typically in our buy box, Mike. We don't typically go to this close to 300K range very often. We'll do it if the comps support it and everything looks good. And again, in this case, the comps support it. And really that's what you got to be driven by, not necessarily just being sticking with certain price ranges. If there's comps out there that are supporting it, also showing active comps that are much higher, it makes you feel much more comfortable about what deal you got.
Exactly. All right, let's shift gears to the next property. So this is one we previously reviewed on a previous YouTube show on, hey, we got this under contract just like the last property we did, and here's what we think we're going to get. Just to remind everyone, this property is in Coushatta, Alabama. We purchased this through online bank auction. We used one of our private lenders to fund this deal. And I'll get into the renovations and everything like that in a minute. Just kind of go to show you what it looks like now. Originally, I think this property, if we go back to the history, I think when the bank had it, they tried to unload it. It was listed for 200 as high, and didn't really make sense. This is the latest listing on the realtor.com that we had. This property already closed, so any renovations made since would be ours. But ultimately, the property was really good interior condition.
Right.
The challenges we had, and we'll get to that in a second, was more on the exterior and around the plumbing and the pool issue. But kind of just wanted to give you a flavor of what this rancher looks like here in Alabama that we picked up. Mix of dated and updates. Dated with the old 3x3 60s, 70s bathroom tile, and then newer paint and carpet in some of the rooms and bedrooms. So kind of our ideal type of property where it had some improvements, had some datedness. Pool covered up now, but we'll get to that one in a second. And what we saw was, we jumped to it, what we originally thought was, hey, I think the as-is value is 170 and our max bid should be 125. There was no buyer's premium on this property. It's probably most likely a CWCOT. And with that, we thought we'd net around, call it 25, 26K. Where we got our numbers at the time was, we saw it was listed for 200. We know it's probably artificially inflated. And, given the comp just in the immediate area, kind of narrowed in here, we saw some comps that were, 160 or 170 here. I actually clicked on it. This is, I believe, what the property looks like. And you can kind of see here, similar style rancher house, brick, right in that area. But it was more dated on the inside than us. And realtors taking so long to load here. But you can kind of see here the kitchen was a lot more dated, got wallpaper up here than our original property that we had here. And that's how we came up with this, call it, 170 number based on that other property. And obviously, we also talked to a local agent that we utilized that in that area in the past as well.
And we felt like we were being conservative with that number there. Yep. Fairly conservative. Just seeing what apples.
Rewind a few months, right? These are what we think is going to happen. We're conservative with our numbers. And then in life, there's surprises. And the biggest surprise really came from, we ended up going a little bit higher on our max bid, which was fine. But the rehab here is where we really had the unexpected delay from a hold perspective, and obviously additional cost. And the reason was the pool issues, and numerous different repairs had to be made there. And then there was also a slight leak in the exterior, nothing in the interior of the house that got resolved as well. So those repairs to the pool and the surrounding area is kind of what was the primary driver of that rehab budget. Anything to add there, Paul, on the rehab?
100% right. So we had roughly around 3,000 for our budget, or initially what we thought we'd put into it as far as cleaning, touch ups, and about 6 grand ended up going in the pool, not just to reline the pool, but then I think the pump motor had burned out, and then there was a leak in one line, so there was a replacement valve that needed to be put in there as well. So those things just ran a little bit more than we anticipated. But with a pool, you got to expect there could be some issues, and it's pools are wild cards. They can help you with the value, especially in a place like Alabama where it's warmer most of the year round. You can use a pool compared to the Northeast or the Midwest up in the North. You're not going to use it more than a couple of months out of the year. Exactly. So for down the South, it does help you for sure. And so we didn't mind that being there. It just, we end up having a leak in the pool, so it needed a new liner. We didn't anticipate that. We will moving forward. We'll anticipate moving forward at about 6 grand for pool repairs if need be, right? Lesson for us. But this one still played out well if you want to continue with it.
Yeah. So to play it out is, hey, we actually listed it and got it sold for a higher value, right? You were thinking 170, we sold it for 182. However, we have to subtract off 7,500 for credit to a buyer, right? Since that's what they negotiated. So that nets us to about, call it 175. And then obviously with the longer rehab, or the more unexpected rehab and the longer hold period, that ate into profit a little bit. At the end of the day, we walked around with a net profit of 19, a little bit under than what we thought initially. However, still a winner on a quick minor rehab like this, on this price point. 20K net profit on just a few months is pretty good.
Absolutely. We'll take that all day long because we're looking usually for 20K north, and this is right in that range, just about 20K, just slightly under. So it fits our model still, even with hiccups. And we've showed you other ones in the past where we've had it on the plus side where we got more than anticipated. So we want to show you on something where we got a little bit, on the downside here, but still positive. We still had room and still made profit on this one.
Yep.
With minimal risk, low price point, 128 purchase price. So that kind of fits. It's probably about our average, Mike. About 125K is probably our average price point lately over the past year or so, I'd say.
Yes, in the low to mid ones.
Yep. Yeah. So no, it's worked out pretty well here. And that was a good solid deal. We have a few more that just closed this past week. We have this one we'll really get into, Charlestown, West Virginia. We'll have to do the full synopsis on that, what we ran into. It's a first in my career of running into what we ran into. Yep. We have another one in Northern Cambria just closed. And today we have Bedford, Indiana closing. So over the next couple of weeks, we're going to have quite a few deal reviews to go over here.
We got a lot more of those before and afters that we just did with the Alabama property. And then we're going to have more coming too as we continue to win at auction every week here. So again, hope these guys some value from how we underwrite real estate properties. If you have any questions, feel free to email us, put some questions in the comment section below. And if you're interested in purchasing any of these properties or lending on them, let us know as well.
Reach out to us. Any questions on anything you want to see for future videos besides deal reviews and different deals that we're going over, put that in the comments as well and reach out to us, and we'll catch you in the next video.